Frank, and it's Great Britain on the left, and it's Kiwis on the right. And no score, of course, but offside in the very early stages. Mark Broadhurst, and this will be a test because McCoy, who is the star of New Zealand and one of the men who has captured the imagination of the British people, good rugby league player. Mick Burke, who is the playing fullback, 48 goals this season, came in the last minute as it were, but he's a good one. And Trevor Scarrett. Len Casey, who is the captain today, comes from Alkingston Rovers. Boxer Walker, Peter Gawley, and I think there's got to be a great big all-out attack as soon as they can. That is Great Britain, but the New Zealand boys have been training very hard, and of course they've got quite a number of star players. Mick Adams from Widnes. Norton, Gawley with a chance of a break here for Steve Evans. Getting the pass inside, but a cover defence taken it. John Atkinson, of course, the favourite here, taken by Graham West. Two minutes gone, first half, and welcome to New Zealand viewers. They will be very, very keen to see their mighty men win this series. The Great Britain side, Burke fullback, Drummond, Joyner, Evans, Atkinson, Woods and Walker, and forward Scarrett, Elwell, Casey, Adams, Gawley, Norton, Kelly and Holstock the subs. Team coach Johnny Whiteley, and he needs to get this one. A bit of a push-up, but it's the ball and a knock-on. Advantage. Play on, says the referee. Half a dummy, made into a foul dummy. Great Britain in white, and little Dr. Keith Elwell, a great favourite, particularly Widnes fans. Gawley. Great Britain doing most of the attacking in this early part of the match. And an up and under. It's an awkward one by Arnott Walker, but brilliantly taken by Michael O'Donnell. He was under pressure with the post right on top of him almost, but coming up, Tamati. There's another Tamati who is number 15, Howard Tamati, and Kevin the other one. The chairman of the New Zealand Rugby League, Ron McGregor, is here. Great footballer in his day. Looks no younger. And I saw him play here in 1940, 47, something like that. Fullback Burke. Chance for New Zealand getting possession from scrums is going to be their probable trouble. Being told no doubt to move the ball about in the early stages. We can see the pressure being put on the English attack by the New Zealanders. It came off. Peter Gawley, Keith Elwell, Steve Evans, and evidence of the support. The popular stand here at Headingley is pretty full, and so is the main stand across. Important match. And Bruce Dickinson. Alex?
Well, what a great start by Great Britain. They're really moving the ball about. They look a lot fitter than what they have been. They're very sharp, and this is going to be a very interesting who scores the first points.
Alan Rushton, New Zealand in possession. Number 9, Alan Rushton, number 11, Graham West. And a bit interesting to see whether New Zealand survived the first pretty heavy onslaught by Great Britain. Akoy, the star of the team. 10 is Kevin Tamati. With 6 minutes gone and getting the ball in the game to Fred Akoy. The New Zealand side pretty strong. O'Donnell full-back, From, Whitaker, Dickinson, O'Hara the threes, Akoy and Smith the halves, and Broad, Hurst, Rushton, Tamati, West, Edkins and Graham. And Seth Mountford is there, of course, in that lineup. Fisher and Tamati the subs, and the penalty taken by Gordon Smith. 14 goals, yes, Alec?
Well, this is going to be a very interesting kick, actually, because it's for feeding, and under international laws, it is a penalty kick. And if New Zealand can go in front early on, they've had a tremendous amount of pressure. I think they'll be very surprised. But
putting the ball down, Gordon Smith kicks goals at the right time on this tour. 14 in all, but very important ones. He got 4 in the first test and 3 in the second, and chance of one more. The crowd are just getting a little bit agitated, wanting to take the kick. The whistle's come up, but not much. Gordon Smith to kick, no score. Final test match, no goal. It came out with the wind, I think, but it was a bit of a let-off, actually, because sort of goal kicks in top-class football you should win. Des White, who is here as a journalist, he was a great kicker. Kicked quite a lot on this ground, too. White's for the New Zealand paper. Amy's gone, no score, and no obvious sign where the strength or the weakness is going to unfold and develop. Well, that's unlike Graham West, knocking on, big tall lad, 6'3", not at all pleased with that. Long one, Bruce Dickinson. Going nicely, Dane O'Hara. And there's a bit of a do in the middle of the field. There's 2-2. There we are, just a little bit of feeling coming on. Mr. Cookson, the touchers, reporting to Billy Thompson. Glenn Casey and Kevin Tamati seem to be the 2 men involved. Explaining what it was all about. I don't think he'll give any orders and show them the road to the dressing room. But he's a strong referee, a good referee, won't stand any nonsense. Yep. Have you had a few tussles with Billy Thompson?
Well, Billy's a top-class referee. He'll have no mucking about, and well, if you see these two now, Len Casey and Tamati, they've had 1 or 2 little tussles. They're just deciding which one is going to be the master this afternoon, but there's other ways of doing it.
There can be a little bit of trouble going on in this pack, and I'm afraid it came out with a vengeance. And what's going to happen now? Well, the referee's sorting one lot out, test judge is sorting the other lot out. Well, let's see what the referee is going to do. It really came after that bit of trouble, which you've just seen in picture. Here it is again. And you can see then the opening up, the referee trying to get them sorted out. Big fella coming out, number 13. And is had a penalty given against Great Britain, and the crowd don't like that, but that's it. Final test, so naturally there's a lot of tension, and particularly with the Great Britain team wanting to come back into some sort of form, which of course they haven't been in.
Well, you can see this game, there's a little bit of tension there. I think in the next 5 minutes the game will settle down. This boy kicking the goal now, Barry Endine, I watched him at Lee on Wednesday, and he's a very, very good goal kicker, this lad, and I'm very surprised that he didn't take the first kick. He could be the deciding factor in this game.
Well, Barry Atkins has kicked 9 goals, and still no score. Not, I was going to say not a very difficult kick, but then they're all difficult kicks. Oh, it's gone straight. He's not going to curve in, but he's in trouble from dropping the ball. And New Zealand get possession very close to the line. He's got to go in quickly, and he does, Atkinson, but he ricocheted off and still got the ball, and in the corner, 5 yards out, Gary Plum. So Great Britain under a little trouble at the moment. They settled down fairly well, and it looked as if they might get a score, but there's no score at all, with only a couple of yards from the try line. Boxer Walker experienced enough. That's his nickname, Boxer. It's Arnie, really, from Whitehaven. This is his debut international-wise, and I'm sure he knows what he's got to do. Great Britain ball. No score. And the referee is in again. Alan Rushton. He's a bit of a strong bloke, is this fellow. I was talking to him the other night. He didn't think that referees were very good. Goalie, Peter Goalie. The pace is being maintained at the moment, and of course there's still quite a little bit of aggro not unfolded. A good break by John Wood, going on his own. Can he get through? Will it bounce right for Atkinson? It does, but he can't get through to it. The nearest thing just 5 yards, 6 yards out, and a very good break indeed. John Atkinson, had he kept his feet there, he might have got through, and there was no score. 40 minutes gone, first half, final test. New Zealand are in the lead at the moment, test-wise. First test, it was 14-all. Second test, New Zealand 12-8. First, well, I'm going to say first chance he'd had really to run, but probably did one earlier on. There were too many, one too many. Steve Norton and Len Casey got mixed up. Not at all, please. Steve Norton, good, strong footballer. Len Casey is the captain, and the New Zealand viewers will now have noticed the ones that they fancy in their own team. Quite good footballers come out of the West Coast, and Auckland and Carlo Park, where I've been many times. And this lovely turf, we've got the Australian chairman here, and an Australian man looking for, well, I think he's looking for players, and I think the man they'll be looking for, of course, is O'Connell. And there he is. Good pass. Alan Rushton. No score. 15 minutes gone first half, a little grubber, and he goes in. Bruce Dickinson
it'll be very interesting to see how these teams play this game, because tactics are going to be very, very important. I would think long balls down the field and gain possession by long kicks, which whoever wins the scrums could be a great advantage.
"25 yards line, Great Britain defending, and full-back Prome coming up. Coming on the burst, Mark Broadhurst. Back on, and everybody saw it, including the referee, and he was the one that mattered, Barry Atkins. Tony Cole should have been in, of course, but he'd been injured, and he was the replacement. And on the short side, when he's in trouble, if he gets out of that, he's more than a boxer. He's a very astute lad, but went the wrong way. And Casey, 25 yards line. A couple of spells where Great Britain might have scored. Just one occasion where New Zealand went very close, but there's still no score. Well, he's putting a long one down, is Arnie Walker, and it struggled well. Atkinson's the first up in opposition, coming in now, and he's off the ball. Ball getting greasy, I'm quite sure. Gary Prome. The ball possession here is very useful. So we've got an injured player, and there is the Arnie Walker. Scrum 2-2. Two number 7s denoting scrum half. The referee not satisfied. It'll be a penalty. Well, chance of number 1, full-back, Burke, with 18 minutes gone, kicking the goal. Burke, 48 goals this season. Quite a pretty... Arnie Walker getting injured. He was in trouble with his knee. Burke, quite a good newcomer really into rugby league.
Well, I think you'll find out that this lad is a very good goal kicker. There'll be no problem with this goal kick. This man is probably one of the best goal kickers in rugby league. But I was just looking at Arnie Walker before he kicked the ball, and wonder whether he has been told to use these tactics of gaining 50 and 60 yards by putting this ball down the field, because it is atrocious conditions, and it's going to be very, very important.
Yes, at this early stage of the game, very important to get the kick in the two uprights. Burke the kicker, no score. And the little lad say it's on, and so did everybody else. And 2 points to nil, the first score we have. Rather interesting, the first and second tests, if I remember rightly. Great Britain took the lead in both tests, so they've done the same on this. Great Britain 2, New Zealand 0. To restart, fullback O'Donnell. Well, receiving the ball, Steve Norton. Norton is most, I nearly use the word peculiar, but not peculiar, but it's a very strong footballer. Tactics change almost point by point.
Well, Stevie Norton he's got a tremendous body swerve. If you watch him where he comes from, he goes to the man and swerves away, and he's very elusive and very difficult to tackle.
And he is, in this match actually, he's playing more out of the scrum than in the scrum, but no doubt the tactics. Penalty is 4-2 for Great Britain. few statistics. Nearly halfway through the first half, I would think. Signal's being pushed around now on the Great Britain side, looking for the burst. They up them very well indeed. And then there was quite a fight back. And I don't mean in his literal sense, so it was with that, 25-yard line. Arthur Clues, one of the great test forwards from down under, here today, and he was fully back in Great Britain. Well taken. Burke. The rain is not quite as heavy and the clouds are breaking up, so who knows what might happen in the second half. We know what's happening so far. And 18 minutes to go in the first half and 2 points to know the score for GB. But that's the great footballer. Ah, did well there to Smith. Good football there. Opened it up for O'Donnell, and they're taking over the tactics of putting the ball forward. He's got to go down quickly. He did, but went too quick. It slipped, I think. The referee is going to see what the touch judge has to say. Mr. Cookson has been on, I think, this is about his third occasion. Get a report on Burke to kick. Today's match is, of course, played under international rule, and the differential penalty does not apply. Just if you find a little difference to your normal viewing.
Well, the international rule is played in New Zealand, and you'll find out that where a scrum and there's a penalty for feeding, it is an automatic penalty. You can kick at goal or kick for touch. But in our game, when the man throws the ball in, it's just a tap penalty, and you cannot score a point.
And in addition to that, once a player is substituted, he cannot return. We had a case of that, I think it was the last test. McAdams looking for support. Crowd urging Great Britain on. Photographers dashing round behind the posts, hoping for something to accrue from the pictures, but very, very good tackling by the Kiwis. Burke opening up. Atkinson pushing the ball out. Little Walker. Good passing. Goalie. Great Britain on the attack in the best bit of rugby for a while. But Gordon Smith and Kevin Tamati keep rescuing the situation. 25-yard line. Minutes gone, first half, Great Britain 2, New Zealand 0. So all to play for yet. Oh, well taken. Well, Ryan Drummond touching the ball for the first time, and we didn't see much of him in the first test. He wasn't very, or the last test, he wasn't very lucky in getting possession. Fred McCoy going near to the scrum in a stand-up position, probably bringing the defence towards him. Not a bad dummy, but he gets the ball. Did it well, a good tackle. But this fella is always on the job. Is the leader, could be the match winner, but at the moment, Great Britain 2-0. Goes forward. The captain, Mark Graham. Good football, Gamby, not injured. But still against the ball. Against the pass out, but to knock on. Only the partisan would cheer, of course, but nevertheless, it was a brave effort. Barry Atkins knocked off. That was the nearest.
Well, this New Zealand side, they're always looking for half a chance. There's always somebody in support, and Great Britain must watch this kind of thing.
Ball possession here so vital. Being fed by the penalty.
Well, I think what he's trying to do, I think he was trying to be a little bit cheeky. You know, he is a scrum half, and that's what they're there for. And that was Arnie Walker. I don't think his captain will be too pleased about that.
Well, it looks as if he's going to be equal 2 points. Yeah, I can't see him missing this. Gordon Smith to take the kick. Very straight kick, and Arnie Walker will be having mixed feelings there about that.
Well, he's been waiting a long time for his chance, and up to now he's certainly doing well. But I don't think he'll be too happy about that one.
Taking his time. Been a lot of heavy rain here today, hence the rather less number behind the post. Kicking into the slight wind. The main stand is just about full. 2 points it is.
Well, I think that's a pretty easy kick, Eddie, but if you notice at the back of the sticks, there's a gentleman there, and it's very uncalled for. He's raising and lowering his umbrella, which is, we could do without that.
Two. Well, at this stage of the game, you begin to look at the position of attack and defence, and whilst Great Britain have had most of it, there were signs of New Zealand coming in every now and then, and that was their only success, but the ball will get greasy, although it has stopped raining. Tamati. Well, that... which way do you want it? Yes. Offside. Just a little bit of needles coming in, and in that case, Steve Evans. When backs come into that, it's obviously a little serious situation.
I think you'll find out that these halfbacks are like a dog with a bone, you know, they're trying to pull anything down. But I think if it needs one man, that's all it will need.
There he is, the man of the tour, without any doubt, Fred Arcoy. And yet he's only scored 1 try, but he's done so much to get others. Strong mark, Broadhurst. Well, it takes some stopping. Switching the point of attack there, and still nothing more than goals, and there's a bit stalemate at the moment, 2-2. No real indication who's going to get the break, although the weather is better.
Well, I think the rain has eased off now, and New Zealand are gradually becoming more into the game. Fred Arcoy is directing operations and bringing his forwards into play a lot more now.
Penalty for not packing properly. John Woods from Lee is the one player that I know selectors and others think that is a tremendous player and could do so much for this game. But at the moment, relying on goal kicks. Nice inside pass. Pushed the couple off. Nick Adams. Stevie Norton. On. Well, he got away and charged it down. Is he out? No, he's all right. Mark Graham. The defending back's coming up very quickly. Well, the crowd just lost the tension of the situation, but of course can soon get a light with the score either side. Okay. 9 minutes to half time. And Mark Graham, he was injured and it looks as if he wouldn't play again, but I mean on tour, but there he is. There's the big fella, Graham West. And scrum down. The New Zealand people watching this, they get the thrill of seeing the famous Leeds ground. Cricket on one side, international, and there the lights are on. There they are at the top, and the scrum's 3-3. And of course there's underground heating on this ground. One or two visitors to the one or two visitors to the camp, as it were, before the match. Talked about Carlo Park and down on the west coast, where they get great players. This moment, 2-2. Both teams struggling and striving to get the first score. It could count so much. Nice short one, looking for the big lean Graham West. Managing to get passes in. O'Hara. Not seen Drummond much, he's there now, but hasn't had any chance to run because he's quite a speedy lad. Still gets the ball away. Almost an interception. But New Zealand now looking a little bit on top.
Well, New Zealand are coming back into this game by the minutes. And I'm just concerned a little bit looking at some of the Great Britain forwards that they've got to maintain the start they had. They've not got to drop out of this game, and they've got to keep up with this New Zealand pack, otherwise they'll be overrun.
Well, significant too that Norton is out of the pack on most of the scrums. The referee, Billy Thompson, a rare old job. I'm sure he's glad when the ball comes out cleanly on whatever side it is. The 25-yard line across to the big stand, main stand. To the goalie. Half a dummy. Tried to scurry it, looked as if he might get through with it. But at the moment, he can't. So who's chasing this one? Well, it's, as they say, good as a pass. Gary Prompt. And it's quite evident that such John Atkinson is looking for the ball, wanting to have some sort of a run. John Whittaker. 1971, they had a great time and scored, and Whittaker was in that side, the only one to get in again, taking the ball out, giving the ball away. Well, I would have some doubt, but anyway, give it to the knockout.
Well, I think that's the only mistake Fred Gacour has made on this game.
Number 6, the man who could turn this game. Scrums 5-3, 5 minutes to go, half-time. Great Britain 5, scrums. New Zealand 3, halfway line. artist at pinching the ball, getting the ball out of an opponent's hands. Norton. They managed to get away. Well, he's gone round in a little bit of a circle, and the spectators having a little something to say. Wanting to see a penalty for tackling him without possession. 4 minutes to go. Graham West. That was obvious.
Well, it was. He did hold the man back, and John Woods was up in support. If we do notice these things, that when a man is in support, the New Zealand have got a habit of just delaying him for just that split second, so that the pass goes forward.
Oh, good kick. Penalty is 7-4, and I'm sure those of you who keep scrums will agree with that. Not that I'm sure they will. The score before half-time is going to be so important, and half-time is not very far away. Over 3 minutes. Turning inside, Boxer Walker, dodging little fellow, gained about 5 or 6 yards, but within the 25-yard line, defended by New Zealand. 3 minutes to half-time, get the long one. Still in Great Britain's possession, and the referee, I think he's giving a knock on. Yes, giving a knock on.
I think Billy's used to that. The crowd's giving him a little bit of stick, but it was a blatant knock-on. There was no question about it, but Great Britain retrieved the ball. I think they thought he should have played the advantage.
Well, I think the spectators are getting a little bit fussy now. They want some tries. Well, that's understandable. Great Britain spreading deep at the New Zealand big patch and getting a pass in. It was forward pass. They were very close, but he was on the job with Billy Thompson and Mark Graham and Graham West. They seem to be combining each other.
Well, if you notice, there's always a man there, half a chance, and there's always somebody there.
Leon, he didn't want to. He was used to the game being stopped with Little Smith, Gary Smith stopping himself. Penalty, the referee saw that, Billy Thompson, and threw that one.
Well, if Trevor Skerritt would have caught Fred Acoy then, he'd have took him right behind the stand. He went in, the man ducked, but it was certainly a high tackle.
Well, the ball came over the top of us, but it's with 1 minute to half-time. It's New Zealand in possession. The score 2-2. Good forward, Mark Broadhurst, strong, and Preston the hooker, and Tamati the prop forward. So you've had the front three in one go. Yard by yard, making closer to the Great Britain try line. Broadhurst, Michael O'Donnell, and as the players go down, Hooter goes and to the dressing room for, well, an unusual sort of a test match with, well, thank you very much, Frank. And it's Great Britain on the right, New Zealand on the left, and there are no changes on either side. And it will be interesting to see the sort of tactics that both teams, or either team, will adopt. The score 2-2. Alex, your view?
Well, I'm just wondering what the team talk would have been at half-time. Johnny Whiteley desperately, for Great Britain, needs an early score because New Zealand will begin to smell blood as the game goes longer.
Well, we shall see what it all unfolds. As I say, it's been done before, but in different hands. So we'll see what happens with this one, 25-yard line, and the early progression to your opponent's right is something of importance. Kevin Tamati, who's having a very good match. Booker, Alan Reston. Long one put in Great Britain on defence. John Atkinson on this wing, a side of this ground that he likes to play with the South Stand and a lot of fans coming there. 25 yards out, and again Steve Norton standing out almost in a semi-three-quarter half-back position. And we've had very little of Drummond. He's 5 tries this season, but I think he's only touched the ball about 3 times in possible attacking moves. Little Howell, then Casey, and a chance if they can get the ball moving further back and then get in possession.
Well, if you notice this, then the Great Britain boys quick to retrieve and pounce on the New Zealand players. They're very keen and they're moving up a lot quickly now. Obviously, it'll be interesting because we've got a bit of a breeze blowing down the field, and I think the New Zealand lads will start using this a bit more now.
Well, they certainly they are a very fit side. They've been training away at Harrogate regularly, and they're quite fit. And of course, this is the big one as far as they're concerned. 2-2. Case just come in. 2 minutes gone. Quite prepared to move the ball about. Going to be a kick. You can see this is going to be the pattern. 2 lone men in the 25-yard area. Drummond and fullback Burke. Got to try on his own.
I think the touches has come on, Eddie, and I think you'll find out here that Len Casey was a deliberate late tackle on Fred Okoye. It was well spotted by the touchers. He definitely went in, and I don't think he's done any damage whatsoever, but it was a late tackle.
Well, he following the play down to the other end, and obviously he thought that I imagine that he thought that nobody would be saying anything, but the test judge smartly in, and Mr. Cookson, who's figured quite often in this match, and Mark Barry Edkins, who kicked 9 goals, kicking at this. The score 2-2. There would be, I should imagine, a little disheartening in the British camp if a goal came at this point, and particularly with the wind. The wind is stronger than we thought. Well,
psychologically, this is a very, very important kick for New Zealand, and if this one goes over, it puts the pressure back on Great Britain, which they can ill afford to do without. I've been speaking to Cess Mountford before the game, and he's delighted with the performance of these New Zealand boys and the way they've improved as they've gone along.
Well, one could see very clearly what was happening there, but it's no goal, and it's still 2-2. Just look a little bit disorganised at times at this moment, the Great Britain.
Well, I think they need a score, and I think they need it quickly, because New Zealand are beginning to come more and more into this game.
Donnelly being a good full-back, dashes around, only gave 5 goals and 1 try before today's match, but good footballer. Being a running sort of a full-back. Five minutes gone. Second half. 2-2 the score. Smith side a little scrum half, Gordon Smith. We haven't got to the stage of saying, well, the next score will decide, but from New Zealand point of view, they'll be going for something like this, a good up and under, and well taken. Drummer knocked in, half back. Well, at least he's had to tussle with 2 of the big forwards and come out of it all right, I think. And Casey. And there's the man, Fred Hoy.
I think this Great Britain now forwards are finding it very difficult to penetrate this New Zealand tackling. They're absolutely tackling in 3s and 4s, and there's not a gap anywhere on the field. He looks like inspiration for John Woods or one of the quicker backs to make a break.
Well, there's a lot of movement by the Kiwi, not a lot by Great Britain at this moment.
Well, I think they are finding it very difficult, and I think they've got to have a little touch of class from one of these class players as John Woods or Steve Evans to break this defence.
The scrums, Great Britain 6, New Zealand 5, penalties 8-5. Edwin Ball. Well, that's wise to get up from the full-back position. Nearly got in the way of his mate. Long one, and ball lost, and a knock-on. Just possibly a little bit of grease on the top, but we had a very good match before with some youngsters, and you can tell where this match is being played between the two 25s, as it were.
Well, there's not a lot of football being played outside the 25s, but looking at John Joyner then, and coming inside when he's got a wingman outside and the covering of the New Zealand lads, I would think they'd be a little bit better running straight at his man and trying to take him on.
Well, we haven't done any, not much straight running, and the fitness of the New Zealand team is very evident. 8 minutes gone. Graham West in that movement. The score 2-2. Rushton will be very happy for a win or a draw even. Good tackle, brilliant tackle, hard tackle, and now the crowd rising to him, so that'll probably encourage him a bit.
Well, this fella is only a slim fella, but he's tremendously strong, and he doesn't have to put him down, and that's 2 or 3 good tackles he's done. He goes into the tackle. Watch this. He lifts into the tackle. Now watch him here. He's no panic. He knows he can take the man. Bump. Watch where he takes him. He flies him over the wall.
I saw him do this at Lee last season, and then he went on to score a cracking try about 50 yards. That'd be useful now with that sort of try.
I wish he could repeat the same performance, because at this moment Great Britain need a miracle, because New Zealand's are beginning to press home with more advantages, and as a matter of fact Great Britain have not been out of their own half.
Well, there's a sense of urgency should now be evident, because there's not a lot. For instance, the wingers, what you think might be doing something, have had little possession. Atkinson and Drummond, and 1 or 2 of the middlemen are going to have to go on their own, but it's still 2-2. And the cheer that it's not gone over, well, that's something. but when they tackle so hard, knock the ball out of the hand. They did with that with John Atkinson. But the flag is showing a little bit of a wind now.
Well, there again, if you see Graham Evans, Stephen Evans run with the ball, but there's two men immediately to take him across. If there's ever a heart transplant and this Fred Tamati needs one, I'm going to have his, without any doubt.
10 minutes gone, second half, Great Britain 2, New Zealand 2. New Zealand, incidentally, played 13. For today, 1-7 drawn, 1 lost 5. With an overlap here. The referee calling John Whittaker up. I haven't seen a lot of John Whittaker. He played a very good match here a couple of weeks ago. And it was something off the ball. John Whittaker. Well, this one came with the referee well away and turning it back, and then continued with the tackle with the man without the ball. See whether it'll bring any dividends. Got 2 balls on the field. Got to bring these big fellas now, got to have a go. The crowd are now beginning to get behind them, and with the score 2-2. Oh. Well, this fella, Fred, is undoubtedly a tremendous footballer. Arthurson, official from, I think it's Canterbury, was from one of the Australian clubs, come over and is here, and I think he's the fella they would like to buy. It'd be a good one.
Well, I think the Great Britain, one or two of the Great Britain clubs, if I had money, I wouldn't let this fella out the country. I'd withdraw his passport.
Oh, he's a bit of a rebel, isn't he? Arcoy, the man we're talking about, is such a good footballer, and there might be talent in the latter part of the game. "12 minutes gone. A neat little touch. Oh, it could be in trouble. Could be in trouble. Certainly being penalised. Gary Prom, who's obviously being held back, and so there's no doubt going to be a kick and goal with that.
Well, I think Steve Evans did the correct thing, but he was very, very lucky to get away with this one. If you notice here, it's a 50-50. Now watch Steve Evans. He's no intention letting the man go. I do not think he would have scored, by the way, because there's a man there to retrieve the ball, but he's been very, very fortunate indeed.
Well, on the 13th minute, this could be a successful kick to put the New Zealand in front. It's 2-2.
Well, we're back again from a different angle this time. Now the ball slips out of Burke's grasp, kicked on by the wingman here. Now watch Stephen Evans here. There's no what he's going to do. The man is not going to go any farther than that. But if you notice, there is a man back here to clear the danger.
There was appealing there. It looked as if it was desperation, the New Zealand lad.
Well, I think
he was, well, we don't know yet.
I think he was doing the arca.
It'll be the hardest of the kicks. 2-2, Gordon Smith. Just one go. And no go. And I thought it was a great big cheer that were a little bit difficult to follow that one, but no go. Score still 2-2, but the fact that Great Britain seem to be in their own half quite a lot, and New Zealand keep coming up and looking very confident. They're still 2-2. Well, Well, if they had a goal kicker of the esteem of Desi White, who I've been talking about over here, they've been all home and dry now. They've had 6 kicks at goal and kicked 1. Billy Thompson right on the job, telling them to let loose and let the ball be played. 50 minutes gone, second half. Now good football, backing up. McCoy setting the momentum and a chance for Winger, but it knocks on. Well, that was a bit of a let-off, actually. The line was there and the cover wasn't getting across quite fast enough, but get towards the touchline, said the referee. And Dane O'Hara. Scored 6 tries, Dane O'Hara. In fact, probably the best try scorer. 9-5 scrums to Great Britain. Trevor Skerritt. And the white wall of defence is needed to be turned into one of attack. Need to win, not to draw. 15 minutes gone. Bunching up, but only one forward and the winger. Can he get clear? Arnie Walker. The crowd are wanting to cheer. Anything they can get, they will cheer at if it's likely to bring points, and little Arnie Walker did then.
Well, I think Arnie Walker's having a very good international debut. He's running the ball, he's making a few breaks, and if he had a little bit more support, there could have been 1 or 2 tries on. But what I am delighted with, if there's any young boys watching and they want a lesson on how to tackle, watch these New Zealand lads. They're knocking everything down what stands up.
There was almost an opening there, but suddenly 3 players went with him, and Tamati and Rushton made the double. I was looking round for the support from the Steve Norton. He came up, but he didn't get the ball. 3-2 now, there's a chance. Got to use the pass. Oh, he lost the ball, not for the first time in this match. The ball being lost when attacking Peter Gawler. It's probably greasy, but it's greasy for both sides.
Well, that could have been a chance, but one wonders where John Joyner was in that situation, because Peter Gawley should not have been in that position. Because here it is again, you see, the wrong man in the wrong position. He is a forward after all, he does well, he goes through, and as he goes down, he just loses the ball. But I'm just wondering where John Joyner should have been.
The New Zealanders are switching their hookers with Rushton and Tamati. But the score still remains 2-2. 19 minutes in the first half, the goal, and 19 minutes gone in the second half. Extra man. Good burst by Kevin Tamati. Famous Headingley lights now on. And well, knock on advantage, yes. Steve Evans from Featherstone. 2 making sure in their tackles. Not satisfied with 1. The crowd now urging the team on. They're opening up the middle, going a little Elwell, like the little pasher down that he is. Good footballer, good runner. The crowd giving him support. Steve Evans. John Atkinson taking Michael O'Donnell. Try line not far away, but doesn't get possession. I think trying to get him into touch there. 20 minutes gone, 20 to go. Great Britain 2, New Zealand 2 in the last match of the tour. What's he going to finish up, Ali?
Well, I think the crowd are trying to lift Great Britain now, and I was just wondering when this was going to happen. There's a tremendous wind down here, and obviously Fred Okoye saw this, and he's going to put the ball deep in Great Britain's half.
A little bit of return now for Great Britain, and the crowd sensing they might get something, giving them all the support they can. Keane tried, but football is looking better now. Joyner. A nice kick. Oh, an obstruction. Badly obstructed. Yes, it was pretty obvious, was that. And it didn't seem a lot of sense in doing it, but however they did it. And it's 2-3 yards out. Keith Elwell standing generally very deep. Trevor Skerritt, the strong man. The try line you can see. Half a dummy. Can he go into the corner? He goes into the corner. Does Drummond? Goes into the corner with a tremendous try. Came after a lot of grafting work. So Elwell to Drummond, and the first try, and I wonder they're looking very
well. If you watch this and watch Keith Elwell, watch how he uses his own man here. Now the ball's round, and he just goes round, and Alvin Drummond doesn't miss these. He flies over. He looks like a bird. What a good try that was.
Drummond, the try to make it 5-2. 23 minutes gone, and that should put a lot of heart. In fact, they're having meeting of the Great Britain side in their own half. And so the New Zealanders, as a matter of fact. It's the policy down here.
Well, I think the New Zealand party will be discussing how many lost goal kicks, how many missed goal kicks, and the Great Britain party will be looking at, can we lift it a bit more?
Be a great double. The goal kick was successful. Burke, good kick. Nearly 50 goals this season. Is anybody cheering? Yes, it hit the crossbar and went in. Well, probably a bit of luck, but it counts 7-2, and the game is now wide open. Here it comes. It seems to hang a bit, and then and hit the thing and slipped over. The two touches just there, no doubt. Burke, a very happy man, and the score 7-2, so we're in for a cracking end to this match.
Well, we'll begin to see now what these New Zealand lads are made of. What a brilliant goal that was from Mick Burke, and they say you need a bit of luck in life, and he certainly had a little bit there, but what a good goal.
Long way to go, the length of the field. Got to make sure that the ball is kept. There he is, with or without jersey or shorts. There'll be some hard tackling now by the Kiwis. Nick Adams. Well, it could have been troublesome there. Steve Evans getting partially away, but at least keeping possession, which is now very important. Give a nice pass. But it allowed the defence to cover up. Could have got it away very quickly.
Well, there's going to be no faint hearts now for the last 10 minutes. New Zealand will throw everything into attack. They know they've got to score, they know they've got to kick a goal, and Great Britain have also been lifted by this score and are beginning to run more with the ball, especially people like Keith Elwell, who I think has been Great Britain's best forward.
15 minutes to go. Losing possession. Overlap. Not having to drop a goal, will go for the try. There's a full-back coming up. Michael O'Donnell. 25 yards line, and this will be the strength of the New Zealanders to fight back in this match. Jeremy Half-Smith, Hooker and Bruce Dickinson. Well, New Zealand have had a very, very good tour and have been very much on top in this match, and now having to fight back. Six tackle, and the songsters giving help from the, as I imagine, the south stand. We don't often get this in rugby league football to any great extent, but that's, I don't know whether the singers are there, but they're there.
Well, they've not had a lot to sing about on this series, but they're quite entitled to sing at the moment, and if it can lift the Great Britain lads that little bit extra, all well and good. But they've got to be very careful because this game's far from over yet.
Well, so far, New Zealand have not failed to score. There's a chance here, he's going over it. 5 yards out. Gordon Smith, this is the sort of football this boy plays. He didn't score some good tries on tour with that just 15-yard burst. Graham West. The New Zealanders attacking strongly now, but equally Great Britain tackling strongly. 30 minutes to go. Seven points to 2. Great Britain 7. Mark Graham, who is the skipper. Coy is the vice captain. And up and under. It's a good one. It's a gem of a kick. It's a gem of a kick. And it's no try. But it was a laid off Bruce Dickinson, good kick. But
I do believe,
cover.
Eddie, he's dropped it over the line. I do believe that Bruce Dickinson caught the ball and definitely dropped the ball over the line.
Have a look at that. All that very quickly.
Watch this kick now. Now watch the man in black. He's definitely had hold of the ball.
Loose. And went over the line. One of those you can argue about. Depends which side you want it. However, the score 7-2. 12 minutes to go. Drummond getting some attention. Have to get the ball across quickly, and they do very well indeed. Oh, well taken. Very well played, good football. Strong reaction. Steve Evans hurt. And John Atkinson having a very good international. He thought his days of international football was over, but here he is, doing well.
Well, this is a brilliant run. It's the first time John Joyner's actually run with the ball, and he lays the ball off well here. Stephen Evans positions himself very well. Watch the little chip. Here it goes. John Atkinson's not far off that one.
Scrum's 10-8 for Great Britain. 11. Knocked the referee down, but he got out.
Oh, I think there'll be some unkind remarks to Billy. Get your big head out the way, there'll be one of them. There'll be a few unkind words flying around there.
Yep.
Well, if you watch this now, oops. Well, they always said he had a pretty big head, but
25 yards line. McAdams. The crowd rising to the Great Britain team. Oh, well, having a very, very good match. Chance of an overlap, and ball well taken by Drummond. Drummond running just about a yard out. It's a try. It's a yard in, it's a try. Drummond, what a tremendous effort. What a tremendous run. Very, very good run to make the score. 10 points to do.
This is a very good try. Keith Elwyn again moved the ball back. The ball moves along the line. Stevie Norton does well. He slips the ball round. And John Joyner, but how strong is this boy? He knocks 3 of them out. Wow, he's still going. And he's going for that line. He definitely put the ball over, and it was a good try.
Well, Drummond, 2 tries in the 21st minute, in the 30th minute. A very happy lad he is too. Great Britain 10, New Zealand 2. And is this the end of it? Not a lot. They're still having their meeting, as they always do, to calm them down, but he had little to do in the first half, but Drummond comes good. 31 minutes gone, and Burke kicking, not a difficult kick for Burke. 2 goals, his second, third if he kicks it. Flag flying at the top. The Leeds flag it is. Bit quiet. And no goal. So 10 minutes to 2, and not a lot of time to alter the situation.
Well, I don't think that New Zealand can come back into this game at the moment, but Des Drummond, after having treatment, really proved. He's had the ball 5 times and scored 2 tries and brought 3 brilliant tackles off. What a great game this lad is having.
New Zealand is substituting Tamati for Rushton. But they'll fight to the end, although they dearly wanted to win this one and create a record. A lot of criticism on this tour about some of the Great Britain players, but if the situation remains as it is now, in the lead, then a lot is going to be taken back, and the little Arnie Walker had a good game. Scrum down.
I'd just like to say that how Billy Thompson has angled this game. I think he's had a very difficult game to angle, and he's angled it tremendously well. As I think that he's the only referee in the Rugby League who can angle this kind of a game, because he gives and takes and he sorts it out early on.
Billy Thompson been around the circuit for a long time and still retains a lot of esteem. Incidentally, we're now wondering whether the try by Drummond will win him the man of the match of £100. For the first time, New Zealand are looking round rather than going in with the same verve that they have been doing. And Coy takes the kick, seems to have just settled out of their normal form. But there's still time. Over 6 minutes to go, that can happen. New Zealand has spent a lot of time in the 25-yard area, but they're not leading. A nice short pass using fullback Michael O'Donnell. New Zealanders leave on Sunday morning for France. Nice little chip one. Great Britain under pressure now. Just got to keep hard tackling. Standing very deep. New Zealand backs. Coming up. Good interception. Well, that was worth a lot by Keith Elwell. He's done so much in this match. Drummond now seeking work and getting it. I mean work. Five minutes to go. Great Britain 10, New Zealand 2. What a last 25 minutes this has been. No doubt the experience of such as Steve Norton and others will slow the game as to suit them. Six tackle coming up, making it 2 yards, Steve Norton. And a good chance there to put New Zealand in their own half defending. Good run by Dane O'Hara.
You know, it's amazing what a try does to a team. 10 minutes ago, Great Britain looked to be a little bit weary. Now they can't do enough work. New Zealand look weary, and this is what a try does to people. But they still not give up, this lads. They're still trying, running and backing up, but I think it's a lost cause.
4 minutes to go. Score 10-2. A good pass to Fred Acker. He didn't let it go, and he usually does. But what a good footballer he is. Whether he will stay in New Zealand, only time will tell. With the big clubs in Australia, they'll be after this boy. Halfway line. Pretty dark now, but quite bright on the field. Great Britain have kept a little bit pace. Hey, Billy, you can't get too far with them. Scraps 12-8 for Great Britain. 3 minutes to go. Plus injury time. We have any injury time? I don't. Oh, a little bit of attention early on, but nothing. But again, Drummond was injured. But
well, I don't think there's been a lot of injury time, but I would just like to say that what great enjoyment this New Zealand side has given a lot of people in Great Britain, and to all the people in New Zealand, I think they should be very proud of these lads. They've had a very successful tour.
A long one. Right cheek, a little dummy. And Drummond keeps going in, playing it. That's one way. He's only about 40 yards to do with that sort of stroke. Yes, it stopped there, but it didn't lose possession, which was equally important. And a good one. Got out, and it could be somebody having a run in. John Woods took it. It could have gone on there, but six tackle.
Well, if you see, you know, if you watch the wind then, the ball was swirling, and as it came down, it was lost, and John Woods could have retrieved the ball. If you watch the kick here, he's swerving all over the place. Watch, he just misses it completely, and John Woods, if he could have taken that ball and the man supporting, would have been another try.
90 seconds to end this match plus injury time. And the New Zealand fans at home, and New Zealand will be feeling a bit saddened at this score, but they've contributed a lot. Alex Seth to a very good tour. They'll be disappointed tonight and tomorrow, but once they get into France, they'll have other things to worry them.
Well, they say they will go into the easy part of the tour. I would like to contradict that, but it's very important, and it gives some really enjoyment. I would think the man of the match has been won by Alvin Drummond. I wouldn't think there'll be any questions about that.
Drummond is the man of the match. There he is, very happy lad. He idolised down at Hilton Park in Lee. 90 seconds or less. Well, there's a little bit of feeling evident now in the camp in New Zealand. I don't know what injury time There is, but not a long way off full time. Well, full time gone. Great Britain 10, New Zealand 2, but of course we say quite often injury time. But it looks pretty evident now what's going to be the result. I wouldn't say the final score, but there it goes. That is the result, and 10 points to 2.